I didn't realize it was a mixer with gorgeous secretaries when I went to a drinking party with my college pals. The extremely attractive secretary, who looked like a famous actress, looked disgusted when I showed there in my beat-up work clothes. Really? Who shows up at a mixer dressed for work? How could you possibly wear such filthy clothing? I was perplexed by her abrupt critique and questioned whether she had resentment towards me. She claimed, I didn't realize it was a mixer with gorgeous secretaries when I went to a drinking party with my college pals. The extremely attractive secretary, who looked like a famous actress, looked disgusted when I showed there in my beat-up work clothes. Really? Who shows up at a mixer dressed for work? How could you possibly wear such filthy clothing? I was perplexed by her abrupt critique and questioned whether she had resentment towards me. She claimed, as she went on to chastise me with even harsher words. I arrived at this upscale establishment, where reservations are difficult to come by, and I already feel like this place stinks. Yes, work clothes are unkempt, unattractive, and foul-smelling. Really, who shows up to a drinking party dressed in work attire? It's completely out of place. She gave me a dirty look when she looked at me. My attractive friend intervened to help when he saw me hanging my head. Come on, since we're all here together, let's all take a drink. I should have told him that it was a mixer. Please just get it a pass this time. All right, but won't you make it right for me the next time? She looked down on me as she suggestively clutched to the attractive pharmaceutical sales representative. She was unaware, though, that this relationship dynamic would change and leave her crying in the not-too-distant future. Samuel is my name. I am employed as a researcher for a top U.S. pharmaceutical business. Although becoming a researcher seems wonderful, in my situation, it's a system of optional work. It's very difficult because performance reviews directly affect our pay. Though performing, research necessitates a significant number of experiments. The flexible hours are enticing. I got to work early, changed into the work clothes provided by the company, and began reviewing the outcomes of the tests I had put up the day before, as well as getting ready for the studies I would be conducting today. Samuel, good morning. Keith remarked, you're working hard early again today. Hello and happy morning, Keith. I answered, I'm just finishing up an experiment right now. That's fantastic. This indicates that a novel medication is drawing near. Keith, a coworker, and I greeted each other and discussed our daily schedules. Did I mention that you're coming to the drinking party today, Samuel? Remember not to forget, like you typically do. I got it, I said, recalling that my college pals and I were having a drinking party today. I noticed that I had worn my typical business attire when I left my house. I thought to myself, well, it's just a casual gathering with familiar faces, so it should be fine, and returned to my experiments. When I eventually got around to entering the experimental data, I realized it was way past the time to stop. How come it's already so late? Every day, time flies. My phone rang from my desk drawer as I let out a sigh. Hey Keith, how are you? I replied nonchalantly. Where have you gone? You remember what I told you this morning of the drinking party? Just now, I reminded you once again. How many hours have gone by since then, do you know? The meeting time has long since passed. Get moving. Oh no, I overlooked it. I become distracted with my studies and forget where I am. On the plus side, people generally describe me as a loner, but on the negative side, as a genius. People frequently tell me that I don't care about anything besides studying. I had entirely forgotten that Keith and I had gone out to drink. I ran to the assigned spot after hastily leaving the lab. I was still dressed in the work clothes I had put on that morning, of course. When I got to the meeting spot, my college pals and coworker Keith were waiting in line. Interestingly enough, there were several stunning women across from them. Samuel, you're running late. How come? I mistook this for nothing more than our college pals' drinking party. A buddy of ours apologetically clasped his hands together. I apologize. I should have mentioned to Keith that today was a mixer. However, I'll be honest. I don't get along with beautiful ladies. I've always been interested in research and have generally spoken with female scientists. Women who are interested in science conduct. Rational discussions without needing to read between the lines. However, I am aware that glamorous women don't get along with my direct demeanor. In addition, I'm dressed in boring work attire today, so there's not even the slightest suggestion of a mixer vibe. Really? Who shows up at a mixer dressed for work? How could you possibly wear such filthy clothing? One of the women across from us grumbled, as one would anticipate. Upon closer inspection, I noticed that the woman who was complaining resembled a well-known actress. Very lovely, in fact. Her personality appeared really unpleasant, though. I arrived at this upscale bar that is difficult to reserve, and it seems really dirty. Yes, work clothes are unkempt, unattractive, and foul-smelling. That someone could attend a mixer wearing only such attire is deplorable. Keith intervened to protect me as I hung my head in response to the abrupt criticism, thinking, here we go again. Hey, hold on to that. Since everyone in this room is engaged in pharmaceutical research, they are all dressed for work. Keith stated it to support me. Well, since it was supposed to be a mixer with a pharmaceutical company, I thought of guys in sharp suits. This is really disappointing. I apologized for spoiling the mood, sensing it was going bad even before the mixer began. Please pardon me while I enjoy myself. Let's meet up with the guys again later. I had no idea it was a mixer. Samuel, please don't say that. It sounds like my fault now. The woman pouted and said, this is the worst, as though she thought I was to blame. Come on, since we're all here together, let's all take a drink. Mary, I'm to blame for not letting him know it was a mixer. Please just give it a pass this time. All right, but you promised to make it up to me the next time. Mary, the stunning woman, responded to my classmate Liam. It's not my position to comment, but Liam is tall, fit, and reasonably attractive. He's a pharmaceutical business sales representative, and he's probably attracted a lot of ladies. Mary spoke to Liam in a kind way today as well, hoping to gain one up on the other women. Even I doubted her since her expression when she presented it to me was so different. The woman at the other end of the table from me started talking to me then. Hello, this is Lily. I take it you're Samuel from that big drug company. I'm really impressed with your business. It's incredible how you keep creating new medications one after another. I'm thrilled to speak with you. She reportedly suffered from a severe disease as a child, but our company's creation helped her get better. She became an ardent supporter of our business after that encounter. However, I'm wearing these out-of-date work attire in this elegant setting. Is it not bothering you? Not at all. I don't care about the clothes. I wanted to hear about your career in drugs. It's actually kind of amazing that the job clothing make you look like a professional researcher. She seemed like an angel to me with her radiant smile. She was talking about other things and laughed merrily before I could say anything. Lily stood out from the other ladies at the mixer, all of whom were secretaries and frequently referred to as hotties. And I couldn't help but be moved by her. However, that disagreeable voice I had heard before now resounded from our front. Oh, the goody two-shoes Lily is going to pull off. It's amazing that you can get along with such a dull guy while dressed professionally. Since I don't enjoy drinking at bars with guys dressed for work, you two dull individuals go well together. She then began to make fun of Lily as well. Keith started to say something, but I cut him off as I saw the atmosphere become icy once more. I left the bar after telling Lily I would chat to her more later because I felt bad for her. I was sad when I remembered after leaving that I hadn't given Lily my contact details. When I brought up Lily the following day, and Keith apologized gently for the previous evening, he remarked, "Oh, Lily, I have her contact information. Do you want me to distribute it?" Ah, I see. She wasn't very interested in me, She was just a fan of this company. It didn't have to be me because Keith works here as well. What did I anticipate? When I realized this, I was sad. Keith seemed perplexed to see me suddenly become lethargic. What's not right? Do you think Lily is interesting? Keith made fun of me, but to be honest, I wasn't feeling it. Well, in one night, a developing crush that I had discovered for the first time had fallen apart. No, I have to quickly review the experiment results. See you later. Hey. Keith began to speak, but I ignored him and returned to my lab. That is the nature of the world. I like my guys happy and personable, like Keith, better than sad. Guys like me. I returned my attention to my study. I nearly lived in the lab for the following month. Hardly left, as the new drug study came to a close, and I eventually succeeded in creating the much-anticipated new medicine. Congratulations, you finally did it. I'm grateful. At last, there's a relief from my burden. The path to get here has been lengthy. Yeah, you did great. Thanks. I've been working on an anti-cancer treatment for years, and this is the new one I created. It lessens the impact on healthy cells and lessens the specific adverse effects of chemotherapy by only targeting cancer cells in the body. I lost my mother to cancer when I was a child. I saw her battle chemotherapy-related nausea and hair loss. She would frequently cry and complain that the pain was too much and that she wished she could refuse the therapy. Following 2 or 3 rounds of treatment, she became weak and scarcely able to speak. It was hard for us to visit her since her immune system had deteriorated to the point that she was confined to a clean room. Samuel, pursue your passion for a long life. I'll be leaving for heaven a little early, but you can count on me to always be in my sights. Those, after all, were my mother's final words before she died. I was suspicious of the treatment even as a child. Why did the medication that was supposed to heal her condition cause her so much suffering? Was it not possible to target the illness without causing pain? My interest in drugs was ignited by these issues. I came to this company to help lessen the pain associated with chemotherapy after studying pharmacology. My goal is to create anti-cancer medications with minimal adverse effects. Luckily, I had a number of unanticipated discoveries during the creation of this medication, which resulted in new painkillers and treatments for brain tumors. Lily's severe illness was alleviated by one of these medications. I thought we were meant to be together, but it didn't seem like fate had any romantic intentions for me. Then Keith said something out of the blue. By the way, did Mary contact you on your phone? Mary? Hold on. Who is that? I cocked a head, not knowing the name. Keith furrowed his brow. She's the woman who was rude to you at the mixer. Oh, her. Despite her beauty, I didn't want to hang out with her because of her personality. Why would she contact me? Apparently, she wants to apologize for the terrible things she said to you back then. No, an apology is not necessary. I simply don't want to interact with her in the future. Keith responded clumsily. Yeah, I figured you'd say that, so I refused to give her your contact info. She then asked Liam for your number and made multiple attempts to get in touch with you. But you never got back to her. She voiced her concerns to Liam, who then got in touch with me. However, I refrained from speaking to you at this crucial juncture in your research since I didn't want to disturb you. Yes, as you are aware, I give that my whole attention when I'm working on a project. For more than a month, the lab has been my second home. I was too busy to even glance at my phone. Exactly, but a lot happened during that time. Did something happen? Interested? I asked Keith. I was summoned to the president's office out of the blue. Mr. Nelson wants to see you, Samuel. Please, could you visit the president's office? I quickly nodded to Keith and said I would speak with him later before rushing to the president's office. President Mr. Nelson held out his hand to shake mine when I got there. Congratulations, you did a great job. Thank you. Now we can reduce the suffering caused by the side effects of chemotherapy. I shook Mr. Nelson's hand and allowed a tear roll down my face, feeling a sense of accomplishment at having finally realized my dream. Even though I had not wept when my mother passed away, I started crying today. Back then, I felt ashamed of my own weakness and was unable to face the truth of my mother's absence. Therefore, I was unable to cry because I didn't think I deserved to. With this new medication, my mother wouldn't return, but even so, she would give me a gentle pat on the head and say, "You did well." I felt that it was acceptable to cry now. "Have you made your decision?" I raised my head to respond when Mr. Nelson asked me the question. Abruptly, I noticed someone I definitely didn't want to see appear. "What are you doing here?" Mr. Nelson started presenting her to me after noticing my shocked look. "Oh, Mary is here. She will be our secretary going forward." "Hi, I'm Mary. Nice to meet you. Eager to collaborate with you." I could already feel her gaze glaring down at my work attire. Even though she might have been attempting to seem like it was our first time meeting, I couldn't get beyond those patronizing looks. "Mr. Nelson, I'm not sure how Mary was hired, but she isn't suitable for our company." "Oh. Furthermore, why is such the case?" Curious, Mr. Nelson asked. So I gave an explanation. "This company stands on the hard work and dedication of its researchers, as you well know. Our researchers are undoubtedly our most valuable resource, but one woman doesn't like the uniforms they have to wear every day. They were smelly, unattractive, and disgusting, as she put it. Our company's culture is not compatible with such an approach." "You're right," I responded. "A researcher's professional attire resembles their armor of war. They are courageous fighters against unidentified illnesses. Someone who makes fun of their combat gear is not needed." "How come?" It was Mary who appeared taken aback by what I had said and by Mr. Nelson's answer. She parted her lips briefly, as though she was attempting to say something. At last, she gave me a steely look and said, "Excuse me, Mr. Nelson, but he is the one unfit for this company." "Oh. Furthermore, why is such the case?" "Actually, I was waiting to gather evidence, but he has been leaking our client's personal information to other companies." "What? Me?" I was taken aback by the charge. She pulled out her phone and displayed a picture while I stood there in shock. "This is a duplicate of the customer data he provided to an additional pharmaceutical business. The info on his phone should be the same. I'm going to notify Mr. Nelson and arrange for his arrest." "What absurdity. You're not telling the truth." "That is accurate. Please show us your phone if you are innocent." The door knocked and opened without waiting for an answer when we were having an argument. There stood my coworker Keith and, quite unexpectedly, Lily. "Lily and Keith, why are you in this place?" Perplexed, I asked. Said Keith, "I was going to tell you earlier, but Lily joined the company as a secretary right after that." Lily said, "Yes, I didn't get to meet you then, but I've been working here for a month," reiterating what Keith had said. "It's a pleasure to formally meet you." "Ah, I see. Why are you both present then?" They believed there was a problem after hearing our argument from the president's office. Lily looked at Mary with a sharpness that was out of character when she noticed that she was pointing at me. "Mary, are you trying to frame an innocent person again?" "What are you talking about?" Mary shot back. "I know you were extracting personal information from the phones of men you met at mixers and selling it to rival companies." "What nonsense are you talking about?" Mary appeared terrified. "After the mixer, you contacted everyone, including Liam, right?" Keith asked, further aggravating her. "After you got in touch with them, we discovered that their phone data had been stolen." "Whatever. That is not evidence of anything. That might just be a coincidence. Regretfully, researchers and other staff members at pharmaceutical businesses have very stringent security policies. We have installed software that, in the event that our phone data is copied, notifies certain people. Liam and the others you contacted received an alert similar to this one a month ago. That's just a coincidence, Mary argued. Lily went on to offer more proof, saying, Mary, you employed the same strategy to terminate me. You circulated accusations that I was the one who took customer information from my phone and gave it to a competitor business. I recruited experts to look into things in order to clear my identity. When a target answers a call, the hacking software you employed infects their phone and begins to extract data. It was possible to identify the data recipient as being on your phone. That is untrue. You're merely attempting to frame me out of jealousy for my abilities. Mary yelled. Have you not always attempted to manipulate others and play the victim to get out of sticky situations? But not right now. I had experts look at your phone, and they discovered a ton of evidence that implicated you. What? You stole my phone's data. It is illegal. Mary lost her temper. You're the last person who should be saying that. Following a heated dispute between the two women, Mary appeared to recognize her disadvantage. She made one last, frantic gesture, pointing at me. This man is the true offender. Yes, I believe that he stole my phone to get even with me for mocking him. Mr. Nelson, I hope you will trust me. He is solely to blame. The charge was almost comical in its absurdity. Oh, furthermore, how would it help me if I stole data from everyone's phones? Sincerely speaking, I have access to significantly more powerful people's personal information than either Mr. Nelson or my coworkers. Why would I require any of this unimportant knowledge? What topic are you discussing? Mary shot back. There's no way you have such connections. Mr. Nelson spoke up this time. No, he is being honest. Samuel maintains relationships with prominent scholars across the globe, CEOs of large pharmaceutical companies, and even a few Nobel laureates. What? What are you talking about, Mr. Nelson? Mary became perplexed by Mr. Nelson's abrupt declaration. Because Samuel is my son and the next president of this company, Mr. Nelson continued. What? Moreover, he developed the majority of our main pharmaceuticals. During his middle school years, he began working as a temporary researcher for our organization, having studied pharmacology independently since he was a young boy. In high school, he discovered a well-known cure for a rare illness. We haven't revealed his identity to the public to prevent us from being courted by rival businesses or offered positions at esteemed foreign universities by well-known academics. Additionally, he has created a groundbreaking anti-cancer medication. My presidency is coming to an end. What? It's not possible. There were security personnel waiting in the room when Mary made a stupid-sounding exclamation. We employed you, by the way, to entice you to reveal your wrongdoings. Using security, cameras, and the webcam on your computer, we have captured every moment. A unique gift was also included in the data you sold to other businesses. The data I sold. Mary stumbled. It did really have a virus in it. They were contaminated as soon as they opened it. They'll probably have serious repercussions for you. What? How are you able to? Mary shook at the news. It was now evident from her behavior that she had stolen information about our organization. After that, security turned Mary over to the police. Naturally, we provided all of the supporting documentation. My father said that she was an industrial spy working in the pharmaceutical sector. She was a pretty inept spy because she primarily used honey traps to target pharmaceutical researchers, but she was ultimately tricked by her targets. After finishing the eagerly awaited new medication, I made the decision to succeed my father as president. I had insisted on finishing the new medication before my father asked me multiple times, and he patiently waited. Unknowingly joining our organization, Lily grew to be a close confidant. By the way, Lily, what's going on between you and Keith lately? What are you trying to say? We are exactly the same. Since I was a little child, Keith has always watched out for me. Since you were a child. Oh, you were unaware. My cousin is Keith. You looked after me as a child while I was ill. Oh, I see. I recognized that I had erred greatly. I asked to meet you, if only to have a close-up look at you, after learning that you would be collaborating with a person who created the medication that healed my disease. I was too scared to talk to you when I found out you were actually Mr. Nelson's son, and the incoming president after I started working for the company. But I'm glad we can communicate like this now. You're happy to talk to me? Yes, I've always admired you. Oh, really? I understand. I felt stupid for thinking Keith and Lily were in a romantic relationship. I had been such an idiot to believe I should step aside. I then assumed the presidency and assisted in the global distribution of the novel medication. Lily became my partner. She helped me out both personally and professionally. It was, of course, my friend Keith who facilitated our reunion. Hey Keith, I can always count on you. Do you not think I'm annoying? Not really. Although you're a sloppy research nerd, you're not bothersome to me. You're a nice friend, though. Hold on. You're both my close friend and my benefactor. What? He had always taken care of me and watched out for me since high school. Though I still thought of him as a close friend, I had never heard him refer to me as his benefactor before. What do you mean by benefactor? You aware of Lily's uncommon illness? It is recognized to have a significant genetic component, correct? Yeah. Well, my mother also had that disease. What? I was unaware of this. Keith's mother had had the unusual disease for a very long period, and she was nearing the end of her life. Because there were no viable medicines available, he and his family had almost given up hope. Then, one day, a novel medication was created in the United States that dramatically improved the condition of people suffering from the uncommon illness. Among those who made this amazing recovery was Keith's mother. Wow, I had no idea. Yes, you used to skip a lot of school to do your study. I once heard the teachers in the staff room chatting about you. They claimed that you were a brilliant high school student who had created a wonderful substance. That is overly dramatic. It was simply an outcome of the research I was conducting for the novel medication. I was simply fortunate. But Lily and my mother were spared thanks to that byproduct. I was shocked and appreciative to learn that you were the one who created it. I felt guilty for doing nothing important while you were creating medicines that could save lives. Even though I knew I couldn't outsmart you, I still wanted to do something. In order to support you in any way I could, I chose to attend the same university as you. I see. In the whole history of my elementary school, my IQ was the highest. Despite the teacher's compliments, I didn't feel like I belonged because my style of thinking was so different from other children's. With books and encyclopedias as my sole companions, I had a lonely upbringing. It grew worse in middle school. I was lonely a lot of the time, and no one spoke to me. I didn't need school friends because I enjoyed studying about pharmacology from industry researchers. I just made the required minimal attendance, hardly attending any classes. There are networks and support organizations for brilliant people nowadays, but not while I was in school, which resulted in a great deal of loneliness. Thanks to Keith, I could remember how much fun I had in high school. To be honest, it was him who showed me the ropes in social interaction. You are a very significant buddy to me, regardless of the cause. Let's continue to help one another. Yeah, you can count on me. Keith and I shared a giggle. I'm known to the public as a genius who created numerous new medications. But that's only the result. I owe it to my father, who let me to freely follow my passion for pharmacology, my friends, who never gave